extremely pleased that you're here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're knowing what you're wanting?
Yes.
Pretty much. Desire feels good?
Yes.
That's a good sign. When something that you desire that's in the process of becoming but hasn't yet become in the full way that you want it to, when it feels good, when you have that anticipation, when you feel satisfied in the unfolding of it, even though it hasn't fully unfolded, then you're in the best place that you could be in terms of vibration and happily ever after, because that is going to be the chronic state of your life experience. You are always going to have asked for more than you have, and there are always going to be many things in the process of turning vibrations to thoughts, to words, to behaviors, to discoveries, to things. Everything is in that process, and while many things have already come to fruition, they're parked in your garage or in your bed or something like that. There are many things that are in the process, and when you become excited and happily satisfied in anticipation of you getting to witness the unfolding of those things, now you've got it. Now you are a deliberate creator. But if you are like so many humans who want it but can't see it yet and are more aware of its absence than you are about its evolving presence, about its vibrational presence, in other words, sometimes its vibrational presence is all you've got. And everything has a vibrational presence that is evolving into something that you acknowledge through your physicality as more tangible. But if you need the tangible before you feel satisfaction, then you're holding yourself in a vibration that doesn't let much in, not as rapidly as it could, and it's not satisfying as it's evolving. But when you are the vibrational sculptor of the clay, so to speak, so that you are consciously aware that you set forth an intention and that you held that intention, and you know it's a wonderful thing because it gives you a feeling of exhilaration or at least satisfaction when you think about it, and you have confidence in the laws of the universe because you understand them, and you have confidence in your own ability to hold yourself in the vibrational proximity to allow the maximum satisfying unfolding of whatever it is, then you've got it. Then you've got the key to happily ever after. But if you need tangible evidence, if you need to see it before you believe it, or see it before you trust it, or see it before you feel happy, then you're in a holding pattern where you're mostly only happy about what somebody else created or about what you created accidentally and didn't know that you had anything to do with. There's a lot of that going on. You stumble into good things all the time. But isn't it a nice thing when you do that on purpose? So we're here in response to your request to help you to understand how to consciously integrate your own awareness into the awareness of your broader inner being. And the reason that we want to help you do that, and the reason that it is an advantage to you, is because the non-physical part of you, the part of you that existed before you came into this body, the part of you that still exists non-physically even though you are in this body, that non-physical part of you has pure, positive, focused attention upon you and everything that matters to you. And law of attraction is responding to that aspect of you, that non-physical, resistance-free aspect of you, and the law of attraction is responding to the physical you and what you think about. Well, when law of attraction responds to that non-physical part of you, law of attraction is gathering all of the cooperative components to fill in all the delicious pieces for everything that you want. And because that non-physical part of you has no resistance whatsoever, meaning no doubt, no disbelief, no pushing against any part of it, then that leverage of that calling of those cooperative components is enormous. Oh, it's so strong that nothing can stop it. But what you're doing with your vibration, now that's another thing. You might be focused upon the absence of something you want, even though your inner being is focused upon the presence of what you want. So when your inner being is focused upon the presence of what you want and calling all the cooperative components, especially you, because you are the most significant part of this attraction creative process, if you're focused in vibrational opposition, then you've got a sort of tug of war going on inside of you that feels like some form of negative emotion to you. It's a sort of push and pull that doesn't go very well together. Yesterday, Esther and her friends that she was flying into Los Angeles airport with had such an interesting experience. And as Esther was thinking about it last night, she thought, I'll bet Abraham's going to tell this story. And we thought, we bet we are too, because it speaks to some extent to what we're talking about. No analogies are ever perfect, because there are always components that you could quibble with a little bit, but hear this and you'll get the sense of what we're talking about. So they flew in on Southwest, and they were coming into the Southwest terminal, small terminal. There are only 2 baggage carousels. And as they were coming down the escalators, open into the greater room where the baggage carousels are, there was an alarm going off. They could hear it, sort of ear piercing. And they acknowledged, because they've heard that before in airports, that there must be some door that was opened that set off an alarm. And they were not concerned. They were not alarmed. They're just coming down the escalator. Now, it's not just their bodies that are on the escalator. They've got their carry-on bags coming down, along with several other people. And just as Esther and Mark came to the doorway to enter out, the people on the other side of that doorway closed those doors and said, stay right there, we've got to reset the alarm. And they said, all right. So they stood right there, just like they were instructed to do. But what those people on the other side of that door didn't do was stop the escalator or stop anyone from getting on the escalator. So Mark and Esther stood there happily until they realized that there was a crush of people coming down the escalator with no place to go. And so Esther thought, well, let's see how this works out here. So now Esther and Mark are standing right in front of the door, and they knew the door was operational. There were just people on the other side of the door, policemen with guns and airport employees, who were making this decision, and apparently were not knowledgeable about how to turn the alarm off. So a lot of people were coming down the escalator, and Esther turned around and acknowledged how many more were coming, and also acknowledged that there was not going to be enough room for them, and the crowd was starting to panic. Have you ever been coming off of an escalator and someone has decided to stop and hug someone right where you need to get off? And compound that with your luggage and all that other things. And so there was a true sense of panic in the room. So Esther just opened the door. And they said, no, 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 no. And Esther said, yes, 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 yes. You guys need to think this through. And the crowd is going, yay! So there are a few points that we want to make here. First of all, be a self-advocate. And next of all, don't set a desire in motion that's calling everything forward and then close the door on yourself. Don't hold beliefs that block you from your own desire. It will squish you into a tiny little thing. You do that to yourselves on pretty regular basis. You ask and the whole universe calls, and all forces, the energy that creates worlds, set things in motion, and then you stand stubbornly with some bogus, flawed premise belief while the whole world tramples you in your unwillingness to move in the direction of your own desire. And so that's what we want to talk about mostly. Don't worry about us. We want to talk about anything you want to talk about, but we'll wedge our message in the crack. And we want you to leave here feeling more assured of your own well-being and more confident about where you stand in every moment, because we don't just want you to stand in contrast and give birth to desires. That happens all day every day. We want you to be so confident of the unfolding of those desires that you stand in happy, satisfied expectation of the unfolding of them. We want every phase of your desires, from the birthing of the desire as it bursts into your consciousness to the full manifestation of it, to be the pleasurable experience that you expected it to be when you made the decision to come into this physical body. So we just want to tell you this one little piece, and then off we'll go into what you want to talk about. You were non-physical energy. Part of your consciousness came into this body. That non-physical part of you still exists and is the largest part. So as you think while you're here in this body, law of attraction responds to your thoughts. And as your inner being thinks, and it does, about everything that matters to you, never taking attention from you, now there are 2 points of attraction that have to do with you. And that's why you have emotion. When the thoughts you are thinking are moving in the direction of what your inner being knows about the same subject, you feel some form of positive emotion, from satisfied all the way to ecstasy, off the wall, enthusiasm, passion, that stuff you really like when the momentum gets going strong. When you are focused in opposition, when you want something but you say, but it's not happening, or I don't know how to make it happen, when you get in opposition to your own desire, then you feel dissatisfaction all the way to true despondency, and all that